I know from spending time with people going through the work that one of the primary sources of pain was not being treated well, not being treated honorably or respectfully, not being treated as children in terms of being appreciated and accepted for who we were. And it's going to be interesting because I'm going to ask you to respond to this. Do you remember, even today in present time, can you think, each one of you, of a situation or circumstance where you felt that you were not treated well? Gosh, well, somebody's awake out there. Okay, so there was a response to that. All right, cool. Great, thank you. Do you really believe that that's okay? What do you do inside of yourself when someone, quote unquote, dishonors you? Where do you go? What is your process around saying, okay, well, this is what happened. This is how it felt. Where do you put this? And because this happens pretty regularly, I know, on a regular basis to people every day, moment by moment, where do we put all of these experiences? How are we cataloging this? How are we saying, okay, but I'm still all right, and this person is still okay, but I am really tired of being treated as if I did not deserve to be treated well. And what I'm going to do is ask you that, and then I'm going to tell you to turn it around and ask yourself, how do I treat other people? What is my gauge for how I show up in relationship to other people? And I mean moment by moment, every day. And I'll give you an example. I was in my car today, driving from one place to another. And this is how, when it hits you like it's hit me, so you'll get an example of where I'm at, so you'll know. I was on Speedway, and I was just tooting along, kicking back. I forget, I had been to Pima College because I was at the track trying to get revved up for tonight. Have been a little remiss, so I thought I'd go and do some extra stuff to kind of get my energy up, right? Cheating a little bit. So I was coming back from that experience, and I'm driving down Speedway. And now, you got to stay with me because you'll miss it if you don't. Okay, this is very subtle. It's extremely subtle. Okay. So I'm driving along. Out of the right corner of my eye, on the lane to the right of me, I see this Jeep. I think it's a woman. I don't know. As I look back on it, I never saw who it was. But I felt like it was a woman. I couldn't see. But what I noticed was that the traffic was going at a pretty steady pace, and it was pretty one car in front of the other like that, and she needed to get over it. And I watched her. I could sense that that was her agenda, that she just needed to get over, because we're coming to a light, and I figured she probably wanted to make a left turn. And so, sensing this thing, and it wasn't anything overt that she did with her car, she just kind of did that kind of, I want to get over thing that you do, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, so then, like, we're in this dynamic, so I slow down, right? And so she just, and then, my heart went pitter-patter, because she put her hand out the window and acknowledged that I did that. And she just kind of eased over in front of me and was like, yeah. And so then, I saw her, like, trying to negotiate the lane to the left of me. And cars were coming, and then there was this place where it just kind of opened up, and she made that little, I want to get to the left thing. And some car noticed it, and she just eased over. And by that time, we're at the corner, and she just eased to the left turn lane. It was beautiful. And do you know something? I started crying. Now, let me explain why, because I had to find out why when I got home. I wasn't sure. It's like, oh, Melana, it's getting serious. Oh, man, why does it have to come in like that? These people better appreciate this tonight, Okay, so here I am, and I'm weeping, and I've got an oldies station on, and they're playing some old song that so I'm just like, got my head back on that, and I'm like weeping and feeling so full of love for humanity. And as I sat with myself about that, I realized what is preoccupying me is that that's how subtle it is, this business of loving each other. That's how profoundly in tune we are going to become to each other in that dynamic of love. It seemed like a very small thing. I mean, it's traffic, and we're in it all the time. But it touched me. It was like, how am I going to ever convey to people where we need to draw back to in ourselves to see the essence of what it means to love another person? And let's say, for those who don't know or don't remember, the 5 aspects of love. What are we talking here? What are we talking about? When we say, I've got to show up loving somebody, okay, if we're to put that on the table, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with integrity, honor, respect, being real, and telling the truth. 5 aspects. That will net you love. Let's go through it again. Integrity, honor, respect, being real, and telling the truth. That's love. Now ask yourselves, who, including you, do you know on this planet that does not deserve that? Who doesn't deserve to be treated with integrity? Who doesn't deserve honor and respect? Who doesn't deserve you being real with them? And who doesn't deserve you telling them the truth? Who is it that does not deserve to be treated like that without you even knowing anything about them? You've already figured out that you deserve it. Those of you who have undergone this journey of learning to love yourself, you figured that out. Take it a step further. Are you that different from anyone else? What makes you different from other human beings? If you deserve it, walking through your life, coming through what you've come through, and the stories are as varied as the numbers of people that have gone through the work, and we all know that we have all walked in some very deep and meaningful places, some very nightmarish places. We know this. And yet we have come to a place of saying, but I deserve to be loved, and I am going to love myself. So, take it a step further. How is that different with another human being? And whatever the difference is the place where we need to begin to walk the journey of healing, the same way we walk the journey of healing, loving ourselves. And it's amazing because people are reacting. They don't even know what's up, but people are reacting already the same way that people reacted and responded when the whole issue of loving the self came up. Am I not okay the way I am? What do you mean? Is there something wrong with me? I'm going to have to fix myself in order to be in relationship with someone? It's the defensive, don't start telling me I'm not all right posture. And that's the same posture that people took when it was about learning to love the self. And it really clues me in that we're in a whole nother cycle now. It's about my relationship with me, and now it's my relationship with you. You deserve to be treated with love, period. No exceptions, no negotiations. You deserve to be treated with love. And you deserve to treat other people with love. It's going to become like your love for yourself, your responsibility once it hits you here. And you learn to walk it here. It's going to be your responsibility to take that one on. Who are we waiting for to do it? Who's going to, do it for us? It's the kind of thing that we learn in terms of loving the self that each one of us has to do. I feel like this is a really important question. I really do. And I know from the whole reality of learning to love the self that I was running around like a little cheerleader all by myself. And people were just looking at me, and I didn't care because I knew I was onto something. And it was okay that people did not get it. And I feel that way about this. You know, you all may leave tonight and go, well, that was interesting, but you know something? I want you to remember that I said this tonight. I want you to mark this on your calendar. And then I want you over the months to start watching Oprah Winfrey. Start looking at the newspaper. Start listening to the president. Start listening to other leaders. And you're going to hear what is it going to take for us as human beings to learn to relate to each other, to be in harmony. And I tell you this, Love is going to be the answer to that question. And when we know what love is, how can we argue with that? We don't have to even like the person to love them. Check that out. You don't have to like them. For all the different personalities, walks in life, this and that, you don't have to like everybody. There's a stretch. Some of these people that we know, man, in another life, we did not get along. And we really remember it this time. So we give each other a wide berth, okay? We're not going to be bosom buddies, but we can love each other. We can love each other, And it's very interesting, too, because I'm going to throw another one at you. And people don't like this one, but I don't. People get nervous. But that's just a testimony to the fact that there is something to be nervous about. The big RACE word. Everybody okay still? Race. Oh God, she said it. That issue that we just all like to pretend it's not here. It's going to go away any moment. Well, yeah, you can. But we have to also participate in that happening. One of the things that we've done with the path, and let me say this about the path is never going to be what everybody likes. We figured that out. People are not going to approve of and think we're so wonderful. People used to feel that way about me when I first started the work. And it's been a real challenge to let that go. That place of thinking, and my name was not the same name, and some people think that when I changed my name, I changed my whole personality. And part of what people experienced in the beginning of the work was that openness, and that openness still exists, but we've just grown. But that acceptance of people to come and to be loved and supported and nurtured while they discovered their love for themselves, that still exists. We still have guides doing that very thing. When I was a guide, that was my job. That's what I loved doing. I thrived at holding the forum for people. I don't care what the story, what the past, what shape people came in. It didn't matter because I knew that people deserved to be loved, and that was all that mattered to me. People who remember that me, see me like up here talking, having changed my name, and taking a fiercer stance, and people have a problem with that. They think that I'm no longer the same person with the open heart. And I have to say that I am very much that person. But I'm also a visionary, and I'm also one who has to take responsibility for looking at the whole picture. It's very important to realize that when you are taking on this business of walking oneself, walking humanity from an illness into wellness, it takes a certain fierceness to pull this off. It does. The path has grown, and it has a range. And part of this forward movement, the path is very cutting edge. We are renegades. We have been, we will always be. And renegades are never popular, but we get the job done. Okay? We're always willing to risk ourselves in order to move the line forward. You cannot gain real truth without being willing to risk your very life to do it. Because that's what you're up against, the illusion of, can I live in a lie or can I risk living in the truth? And in that moment, from the movement, from the lie to the truth, anything can happen, including losing your life. And that is something that you learn to live with. And I need to say that because there's a certain stance that you begin to take in your life around what you believe in. What do you believe in? What do you believe in? And can you stand behind what you believe in? And if you can't, what is the distance between where you're at and where you need to be to stand? And how can you accept standing any less than that? Can you stand on your own, all by yourself, in your belief, in your truth, and say, this is what I believe in. And it doesn't matter that your parents, that your partner, doesn't matter if they cannot stand with you. Can you stand in the center of your own being and say, this is what I believe in? And can you take that stance and put it in relationship to loving yourselves and loving each other, and say that I take a stand for love. I take a stand for humanity. I take a stand for knowing that none of us deserve any less than love. Any less. Any less is not okay. That much less is not okay. It's like you must draw a line and say, that's not negotiable. Everything and how we treat each other and ourselves falls on this side of the line. And if you cannot, or do not have the desire in your heart to do that, then ask yourselves, why? Why? Why would you want to even be here and not do that? Why would you want to live less than the absolute maximum that you could live? And I know that I was talking about race, and I have this thing, and I'll just go off. But I always find myself, I do. And usually I have to ask for help, but I caught myself. That's very cool.